And here is the book. It's A Passion for Food by Gerry Shikatani, Conversations with Canadian Chefs. And Gerry, I love this book, I have to tell you, and I was amazed actually, well, I shouldn't say amazed, but I was a little surprised with how thoughtful some of these chefs were in talking about their cooking and food in general. Who among all of the ones that you interviewed impressed you the most?
I really can't say, to be perfectly honest, and I can't say there was anyone who impressed me the most, because with each person you are really engaging with their passions and with the depth of their inner lives, of how they became chefs. And so each one, as with human interaction, we can like all of them, we'd be interested in all of them.
Is there one who had a really interesting story in terms of how they came to the profession?
I certainly think that was really interesting, not so much to the profession itself, but to the Italian food that we're going to be tasting here of Andrew Milne, who's from New Zealand. But he is perhaps the foremost, or one of the foremost chefs of Italian cuisine in Canada.
And he married an Italian, did he not?
Yes, an Italian-Canadian poet, in fact. And so the artistry is in the family as a couple.
Now, speaking of food, I put these together in your honor. I prepared these, so you have to say that you like them.
In the chef's honor.
Okay.
Yes.
And this one is Andrew Milne Allen's recipe, which he provided you for your book. Just tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well that's a bacalao, and it comes, as you said, from the Puglia region, sort of that southern end towards the Adriatic, and it's fresh cod, something everybody here knows well, but then salted from the fresh cod and then combined with things like tomato and garlic and this wonderful little crusting of breadcrumbs and anchovies to give that real strong sort of salt fermented flavor to it.
Now, you know, when I was doing this recipe and I was buying fresh cod for the recipe, I was tempted to just buy salt cod because I was thinking, well, why would you want to take fresh cod and salt it when you could buy fresh cod? What was his rationale for doing this recipe that way?
Well, I think it goes back to the traditions, because he is so concerned with really going back to the traditions of using fish in the ways it was in different regions. And so certainly there's salt cod in the very dried kinds that we know, but also part of it is which also occurs in Spain, what's called the semi-curado, the semi-cured. There are various forms of salting. We can take them at different stages of the salting.
Okay, now let's talk about this one. This is Rob Feeney's recipe, and I didn't have much trouble choosing this one because I love braised meats.
Right.
These are braised short ribs.
And certainly I think braised foods are becoming really popular again in Canada, and which is great because it's taking inexpensive cuts. And for Rob, he is very, very solid on his French training and French technique, but he's going back to really Canadian roots, to diner food, the short ribs. And
this for me, I have to say, is comfort food. It's, you know, it reminds me of the stews that my mother used to make when I was a kid. And tons of flavor, because of course it's been cooked for a long period of time on a low heat, and it really helps bring out the flavor of the food. Would you do me the honor of tasting my preparations here? Right. Let's see what you think.
Well, I guess I should start with the fish. We'll
okay,
go with the fish
start
first.
with the fish. See what you think.
Okay, there we go. And there is, of course, I didn't mention the lemon in it too, which gives it that nice acidity.
I'm always nervous when people taste my food, because you never really know.
No, that's great. That's really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, with the salting, that amount of salting, it firms it up too, so you get that texture.
That's
so
right.
It's a combination of those textures that you get on that crumbling part, the liquid, and then this little chewy texture that comes from the salting.
Yep. Just have a taste of the ribs. And I'm going to have a little taste of this fish.
Isn't that great? Wow, you've done a great job. More than a good job, done a great job. No, it's really wonderful, and I'm sure not so much me, but the chefs would be honored.
Gerry, thank you very much. And congratulations on A Passion for Food. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you, it's been a real pleasure.
Okay.